But before we get too far into this topic, I know that we got to clear something up first because most people are divided on the issue of whether or not this person was an MS-13 gang member. And actually, Caroline Levitt, the spokesperson for the White House, was asked about this.
Case. First, I wanted to clarify something that you said to Jeff a few minutes ago. You said you'd seen evidence that this man was a convicted gang member. In what court was he convicted and for what?
That is a fantastic question because I have noticed that for most people, right, on the one hand, you have people who are like myself who are arguing that he deserved, like everyone else, due process. And that is not an opinion, that is a legal fact. The Constitution requires that he have due process. And that is just the function of our Constitution. But I know when I've talked about this with other friends and colleagues, and we've talked about this on the radio as well. And the number one thing that people say is, yeah, but he was a convicted MS-13 gang member. And as a matter of fact, listen to this response from Caroline Levitt.
This individual was an MS-13 ringleader. This individual was also engaged in human trafficking. And I'm glad you brought up this point again, because I would like to point out that if you just saw the headline from the insane, failing Atlantic magazine this morning, you would think this individual was Father of the Year, living in Maryland, living a peaceful life, when that couldn't be further from the truth. They didn't even mention in the title of that article, or even in the first paragraph, that this individual is an illegal criminal who broke our nation's immigration laws. He is a leader in the brutal MS-13 gang, and he is involved in human trafficking.
So I did not read the Atlantic headline, and as an attorney, I'm not going to get my facts from from headlines. What I will do is go back and look at some of the case history. So here is what we have. This is basic, kind of some of the facts that we have been able to garner about this man. So back in 2019, apparently the man did come into this country without documentation. And then back in 2019, I believe it was sometime around March of 2019 or February of 2019, he is standing at a Home Depot soliciting work, and he gets arrested. Apparently, there was an allegation made by an anonymous, unidentified person, that this person was a member of MS-13, and that he was wearing a Chicago Bulls hat. So he gets detained. He then makes a claim for asylum, saying that no, he is not a member of MS-13, but rather he and his family were persecuted in El Salvador by MS-13, and that was why he was in this country. His family apparently had like a pupuseria, and they were being extorted by MS-13, which is exactly what they do, right? So he comes to the U.S. So there was actually a hearing, a full-on hearing where the U.S. government had the opportunity to provide all the evidence to the immigration judge that they as to why they believed that this person was an MS-13 gang member. He likewise also had an opportunity through his attorney to provide evidence that he was not. This is how our legal system works. This happened in 2019.